Do you want to become an animator? Well, let me tell you that this video will definitely teach you some key basics on how to make your thing and or person to do as you please. Alrighty then, open your Blender software and notice this default cube. Select the cube, press I to log growth scale, move your timeline and then your cube, press I to log growth scale again, and you are now an animator.
The end.
Okay, that's kinda cheeky. Let me properly do the things I'm supposed to do. This is more like a level or more than a beginner's tutorial because as you can see here, that doesn't really look too beginner-like. So if you're not big brain enough for this, watch the more informative tutorials like BornCG's Minecraft rigging series or Donut series by Mr. Price over here. But I welcome you all to this time-lapse / tutorial of some sort. What am I doing with my life? Okay, in order to move stuff, you will need something to move with because of course you can't move what you don't have. So here's a little someone with a rig to move with. And I'm going to assume that you have your someone on your file too. You may recognize her as a fan art Breath of the Wild Zelda by Christoph Scotch. If that's how you pronounce his name, also known as Art Stuff. There's a little credit there. I have my project set to this frame rate by the way, but you can just put in whatever. Blender defaults to where you have to keyframe with I every time you make your next pose. Otherwise, you will lose it when you move your timeline cursor, so keep that in mind and toggle this button so it will auto key it for you. Now as you can tell, we are working with a human body. We all know how the human body works, right? Right? If your character rig has inverse kinematics, or IK for short, you will be able to move hands and feet like you're literally grabbing them and moving them in real life. There's a built-in add-on called Rigify, which its steps is as few as adding a meta rig, match the default pose with this character, generating a rig, setting parent with automatic weight, while importing this bone layer is active, and now you have a rig with IK, so you can do this. Okay, that being said, now to put your test subjects into action. Why don't we make a walk cycle as a good starting action to learn from? What I would do is make each pose every few frames. I know how to walk, so assuming you know how to do so too, you'll be fine. Unless you're not. There's always some references you can look on Google Images, like this one here seems just about right. One or the other, references are the best guides for these types of works. Just save an image and Shift A and reference. By the way, if you want to make it look easier, try Ctrl-Alt-Q to enable quad view to have better vision of your subject. A cycle of walks will consist of at least 4 key poses. Easy enough. First step is, well, the first step, so take it. You select the bone and move it with G, rotate with R. Do the same thing with the other bones necessary to fix the pose. Move on the next few frames and on to the next pose. Select G, R, fix. As simple as that. Rinse and repeat with the rest of the poses. Once you reach the loop, go ahead and duplicate the keyframes in the first frame with Shift D and drag it over to your last frame. In my case, it's frame 32 since it's the 4th by every 8 frames. 1 frame before your duplicated keyframe is where you want to set your end frame by typing it in this slider or have your timeline cursor on it and press the end key. Now you have a simple walk loop, a walk cycle. Do you want to go even further? Want to make it more alive? Go for in-betweens for some parts, like those heels for example. They look like some tweaking is needed. Not much more I can say, but use references, know how heels work, move and rotate. By now you should be able to get used to the IK in the rig you may be using. If you are, that's progress. Animation is like an experiment. You try out something and sometimes it doesn't look or do as you want it to look or do. So you fix it. It may not be as easy, but you'll get used to it. You'll improve the more you do experiments, not just in animation, but many others like modeling, rigging, compositing, and so forth. I'm mostly self-taught. Well, with a side of Blender Guru and BornCG. And that got me with many trials and errors to where I am. I'm sure it's the same thing with Autodesk or Adobe programs or game engines. ETC period. Well, I hope this bit helps you move a little bit. If not, my bad. I guess you can say this format of tutorial is CG Matter inspired and my way of experimenting. Using Blender is fun at all, but scripting this thing and putting everything together felt like I was spending too much of my disabled brain cells into it. Anyway, you interested watching some things? You can go to www.thegoostation.com for things and a Discord link. First video in 2020, so happy New Year's anyway. I still am planning to do more for this channel, so keep a lookout for my next one in IDK when. And you have a good morning, evening, night, or whenever you are.